Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Brown and Browner post week. What is it, 9 or 10? I believe. I think we're
It's week 10 now. Post week 9. Yes.
Yep. It's getting that deep in the season. We're past the midway point. There's still no prevalent trends in football as far as we can see. It was definitely a busy weekend of sports. Shout out YouTube TV for ruining it for half the fans out there.
These streaming services, I just don't know.
There's too many carriers for too many things, and all we've done is gone backwards. The whole purpose of making it easier for people to watch television was to consolidate stuff, make it easy.
Well, and the other thing, let's just be real. Not everybody has streaming.
The cost is crazy.
Sports is supposed to be something accessible to everyone.
Yeah. And it used to, well, and like I said, I'll give you a case in point. I believe it was Monday night. I was trying to watch my beloved Jayhawks here open the season, and typically the Jayhawks would be on let's say like local television in the Kansas market or whatever, or even in the opposite market, whoever they're playing. That doesn't exist anymore because ESPN owns everything apparently these days. So you got to have ESPN Plus, and then you got Here's the beauty of ESPN Plus, and I'm going to make this a rant right now, and maybe an indictment on the whole media problem right now. So YouTube TV is what I subscribe to for my ordinary channels. YouTube TV has ESPN and ESPN else, and then there's that big debate right now and big problem with not having ESPN or ABC covered at all. So Saturday, can't watch college football.
Right.
Sunday, if you happen to be a subscriber of, let's say, Red Zone or NFL Ticket and all that, that's owned by ESPN now. So guess what? Sunday, you didn't watch NFL football if you were in that boat. And then on Monday night, you didn't watch the Monday night game because guess what? That's an ESPN product. Then college basketball tipped off on Monday and Tuesday. Guess what?
Right.
Again, you're not watching college basketball.
So how is that helping?
How does that help fandom? Yeah, exactly. I don't get it.
Either.
Nope.
The money grab is going to backfire, I think, at some point.
Exactly. But I digress. We'll stay out of the whole media politics of it. We're here to actually watch sports, pay attention to sports, and be the fans that we are. And we'll figure out our way to watch.
That is correct. There's a lot of things happening in sports. I know you wanted to touch real quickly on something relating to the New York mayoral race.
Yeah. So, like you said, we've always been a platform for talking about everything here, including sports. And funny enough, during the mayoral race in New York, I believe it was after the first debate at the end, at the tail end, whoever the moderators were, some local news guys from New York, you had the three, candidates on stage. You have Sliwa, you have Mamdani, and you have Andrew Cuomo. None of which I like at the end of the day. But, it is what it is. The world is world. But they end the debate by asking the three of them, hey, if you guys were forced to attend the finals of the NBA Finals or the World Series, which one would you pick and why between the Knicks and the Yankees? Because they were all Yankees and Knicks fans, apparently. First off, dumbest question I've ever heard from New York media in my life. Those two things will never intersect.
I was going to say, who really?
One's in June, one's in November or October, depending on the World Series.
Oh, you can watch both.
No. Of course, fine. Moderators might be stupid. They ask dumb questions, maybe to trick people. The three mayors didn't clarify it, didn't fix the answer, didn't fix the question, didn't clarify that these things can't happen at the same time. They all either took a side or said, I'll split my time. I'll go the first half here and I'll go the first half here. Dumbest thing I've ever seen from some people that call themselves true New Yorkers in my life. Forget sports fans aside.
Yeah, they were trying to say basically they were trying to pit Knicks against Yankees.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, but I get that people try to pit sports and politics and all that stuff together. But I'm sorry, you're talking about the New York mayoral race, just like I would talk about the Chicago mayoral race or any other significant mayoral race in the country.
Right.
You're supposed to know your damn constituency and you're supposed to know the people you represent. I'm sorry, but you got three morons on the stage and you got even worse moderators.
And just for the record, if I had that choice, if I was a New York fan, I would pick the Knicks because the Knicks haven't won in 50-something years.
Exactly. More likely than not, and I will make an assumption here, the Yankees would have bought their championship run if they would have been the case. So I'd rather see the Knicks because they've got to overcome their own owner to get to the finals first.
Right, exactly.
which is a more monumental feat in its own right than anything else.
So real quick, let's take a look at what last week. There were some good games. There were some surprises. The Vikings beating the Lions in Detroit. to me was a surprise.
How did we pick that? I forget.
We both picked the Lions.
Yep, we did. And you know what? We're eating crow for it. I mean, like as we kind of kicked off the show here with, there's been no stability in the NFL. We can't figure out a clear-cut runner right now or anything of the sort in terms of a favorite to pick who's going to win the AFC or the NFC at this point, and even divisions for that matter. Because honestly, week to week, you're getting these periodic little blips from every top team that don't show any consistency. I mean, we'll get to a few others here in the first, but that was the first one that kicked off to my mind was Lions and Vikings.
Second one was the Colts Steelers.
Colts.
Who picked the Steelers to beat the Colts? Obviously, we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. And we had questioned. I mean, we went on here and we questioned the Pittsburgh defense. And guess what? They decided to kind of show up and at least pressure at least the team. Now, I don't know what happened to the Colts play calling. It kind of changed up or something. I don't know what happened there.
Their offense was putrid, and they've been the model of consistency from an offensive perspective this year. Another team that sort of bit the dust. The Cowboys. The Cowboys are supposed to be on the up, and the offense is supposed to be elite. Didn't look too elite last week, Monday night. That's for sure.
You got Jacoby Brissetted, baby. That's what happened.
Hey, and Jacoby actually found Marvin Harrison. How is it that a quarterback can throw to their star receiver more times in one half than he's had in his whole career?
I'm going to tell you why. Because he can look over the line of scrimmage.
He's got Doug Fluteitis.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Kyler Murray, for whatever he's worth, I mean, yes, he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's a starting quarterback for an NFL team. But I'm sorry, I think his time's up. You know, I mean, he's always been an undersized guy. He's performed well with his feet, but he gets injured. Obviously, he's going to get hit. He's never had protection. And frankly, you're in an NFL where you've got big quarterbacks that can run. You've got the Daniel Joneses. You got the Patrick Mahomes. You got these guys that can stand in the pocket. Josh Allen, the king of them all at this point. And frankly, Kyler Murray's game doesn't work if he can't get the ball out. That's the thing. You've got to be able to get that play action going and throw the ball to your key receivers, especially when you got an elite tight end, elite wide receiver. Yeah.
Like he should be killing it. And here's something that I think goes along with what you just said. They just put him on IR.
Yeah, he's on IR.
Now, he's been out for the last few weeks, and now they're putting him on IR. I think they feel like they're okay with Jacoby.
There's some interesting shady practices going on with the whole injury bit in the NFL. We can maybe touch on that at a different time because I feel like all season, well, it's even starting last year. Let's start with last year.
Don't even tell me about it with the McCaffrey fiasco with San Francisco.
Yeah, the McCaffrey fiasco.
Yeah,
I don't know whether
it's first pick in my fantasy draft.
Yeah, I don't know if it's sportsmanship, gamesmanship, a mockery of how the injury system and the designations have to work in the NFL, but it's become problematic, not just for obviously fantasy owners for our own selfish right, but just in the NFL itself. I mean, Jacoby Brissett wasn't declared a starter until like 3 hours before the game on Monday night.
And now Kyler's on the IR.
Yeah, and that I get, and now Kyler's on the IR. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's been shady all over. You know, he's got to be careful with how you're looking at teams, right before they start a game at the end of the day.
Yeah, one thing I just want to say before we start with this week.
Yep.
What happened to our Chiefs?
I'll tell you what happened. The front line went and fell asleep. And we've questioned this throughout the year, even in the start of the year, where frontline protection has never been there for the Chiefs. Even though we've got Trey Smith and all these other high-caliber names. We got one of the best centers in the league. We got everything. The thing is, this line has never put it together to where they could protect Patrick Mahomes. And with Patrick having to run outside the pocket every single time, it's going to put him at risk. Now, the worst thing I saw in this game, the Bills destroyed the front line. I didn't see a single time where Pat Mahomes got more than 3 seconds to get the ball out all game.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something about that. There were times that he had enough protection. It wasn't that every time he had 3 seconds. He has made some very poor decisions.
That too.
At times when he is looking to make a big play when Kelsey's open in the flat. And it's like you can't see him. And he only looks for, he didn't throw a pass to Rice until the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter almost. Yeah, it was late.
I mean, how is that? So this is where I think that, there were some issues with the blocking.
Honestly, never got the run game.
Mahomes is starting to get tunnel vision, and sometimes he's screwing up versus what we've seen over the last, 5-6 years with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'll give you a take on it. So Buffalo supposedly had one of the worst run defenses walking into the game.
Yes.
We have arguably a very lackluster running game, which we know to be true, and I'll touch on that here in a second too. And Kareem Hunt, he's a good running back, but he's not an every down guy. He's a power back. He's a guy you bring in for third down to get that tough first down or whatever it is. And even maybe out of the flat, he used to be great catching the ball out of the flat and running down the field, but that doesn't exist anymore in that either. Now, they never got the run game going because honestly, Buffalo just stuffed them every single time they tried to run. And because of that, did Patrick shoulder the load and say, I'm going to try to force things, do whatever stupid?
Yes,
Probably. And I think that got exposed really quickly. Now, aside from that, obviously the NFL trade deadline came up, and there have been rumors for quite a number of weeks that the Chiefs would try to make a move for a running back. Came out yesterday after the trade deadline went and passed that the Chiefs were trying to get Breece Hall from the Jets. They offered up a 4th rounder for him. The Jets wanted a 3rd, and we didn't give the 3rd.
Come on, that doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
And to me, the Jets were willing to give up, as you can see. They got rid of 3 players. Yeah. So you're going to tell me that we couldn't make a deal for that? And a 3rd rounder is still just a 3rd rounder. That's not a hit. And Breece Hall has shown that he can run. He just needs to be on the right team.
Breece Hall is arguably, I would dare I say, almost like a top 10 running back this year in terms of performance if he wasn't on a shitty team. Simple enough.
I mean, if you're playing on a team that can't, well, they did score some points a couple of weeks, but for the most part, they can't score. Their offense is, they don't have a quarterback that can really threaten any other team. And as a result, you're always playing from behind. So guess what you're not doing? Running the ball.
Exactly. And Breece Hall would have been like a perfect complement, I think, to the Chiefs because you actually would have first and second down back, powerful, has the ability to cut. Because honestly, I mean, I don't think there's any truth coming out of it, but I think it's pretty valid to say that with Pacheco getting another MCL injury, his days are numbered, in my opinion, for this season.
Yeah. Once you get a couple of injuries in a row, it's going to be hard at the running back position to really be effective. And teams will see that. And you can see that in his play. When he first came out, he looked like a ball of fire. Yeah. But now all of a sudden,
he's lost his cut ability. He's that power runner because he used to run through a brick wall, as far as I'm concerned. That dude ran with reckless abandon. But now with the injuries, he's not that dude anymore. Yeah, he's not that dude. So Chiefs needed a piece. They didn't get it at the trade deadline. We'll see how it goes the rest of the season. Maybe the rookie comes through, Smith. He's seems decent, but he needs more reps, obviously.
Hey, you know what? Everybody could use a piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, like I said, we'll get to that piece here in a second too. With who made the key deals.
Yeah, it's not always for the kiddies.
Nope.
So looking at this week, I'm not a fan of the game tonight. I'm hopeful that the Raiders will show up. I'm not thinking that's going to be the case, but something about the Broncos.
Yeah,
the Broncos. And the Broncos have been so inconsistent. They should have lost a couple of games this year that they somehow pulled out. Last week, they should have lost against the Texans.
Yep.
Somehow they pulled it out. How many times can you do that? Are they the new Chiefs where they can win these close games? Or
tell you what, Sean Payton has gotten the resurgence of what used to be true in New Orleans in Denver, as far as I'm concerned. And he's got the right pieces to do. He's got an elite defense. And, Surtain's out, and I get that, but he's still got pass rushers. They still got pass rushers, and they're putting pressure up. So, I mean, you got to give him credit. At the end of the day, Bo Nix is getting it done with, mid-level talent. I mean, Courtland Sutton, yeah, he's got the ability to be a great receiver, but he hasn't gotten really that elite status yet. He's not like a top 15 kind of guy. Mims is always injured. They don't have an elite tight end, but they got the running game going enough to where they push the ball down the field every time. And then, frankly, this is the thing that came up, I think, in a lot of media play, too. What does Sean Payton do? He went and got his favorite kicker from the Saints to play for the Broncos, Will Lutz. And this guy's come up clutch time out, time again in those close games.
Clutch Lutz.
Yeah.
He's definitely clutch Lutz.
Yep. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Sean Payton has always been a great coach. He knows how to make things out of whatever talent he's got on the field. And frankly, that's exactly what he's doing with this Denver Bronco team right now.
Yeah, and by the way, Evan Ingram is not a bum, just so you know.
He's not a bum. He's not a bum. I mean, yeah, he's another dude that kind of went through, different teams, different things, whatever. So I get it. But that's the thing. The Broncos are a solid team, top to bottom. And honestly, I haven't looked at the ranks, but I'm sure they've got to be both top 10 offense, top 10 defense at this point.
Who do you have in that game?
Broncos, easy. I mean, it's sad to say it's at home in Mile High. The Raiders, you got rid of your top wide receiver, so all you're left with is Brock Bowers and Ashton Jandy. it's a two-man game. Good luck, you know.
Yeah, agree with that. The next game I have on the slate is Falcons Colts in Indy.
In
Now,
Berlin.
the Colts showed that they are vulnerable. The Falcons, we don't know who the Falcons are. At the beginning of the season, the Falcons were one of those teams that were the dark horses of being potentially, an NFC contender. And they are so inconsistent. 1 week they look like, giant killers. The next week they look like, they couldn't beat a high school or a college team.
By the way, my two favorite owners in sports right now, Monopoly man Arthur Blanks, and now Miss Irsay, the daughter of Jim Irsay, who stands on the sideline, takes notes. That this gal is amazing as an owner, from what I can tell. And frankly, she must have signed off on the deal to go get the key piece on the trade deadline. She got that sauce.
Well, and I wonder, so I get it, especially when you're an elite cornerback, you should be, aligned up with their best receiver. You sort of know how to play. You don't necessarily need to know the schemes per se as much. Will Sauce Gardner really make that much of a difference for the Colts?
It'll be a question mark. Honestly, I think they overpaid for him. They gave up 2 first-rounders, which I thought was just huge.
I mean, I'm not understanding that because everybody else seems to be getting them for 3rd and 4th round. I've seen 6th-round picks, things like that. You're paying top dollar for a guy, and don't get me wrong, Sauce has shown that he can play.
Yeah.
But is he that good?
He's not 2 first-rounders good.
He's not Revis Island.
No, he's not Revis Island. Exactly. He is not Revis Island. And that's the thing. So, I mean, Sauce Gardner, he's newer. He's still coming off rookie contracts and all that. And yeah, he got paid in the offseason. He's obviously due a considerable chunk of money now with his renewal of his deal. But for the Colts, okay, you shore up maybe your secondary with a guy that might be a shutdown corner for you. Okay, great. But you just laid an egg last week on your offense. So where's your consistency really lie at the end of the day?
Yeah, but think about it, though. Was that more play calling and situational play calling versus look at who they got? You're not taking Taylor. You don't need anybody to replace their running back. Their receiving core is solid. Are they exceptional? No, but they're pretty solid across the board.
Solid. I mean, they got a great team.
There's not much they could do there other than the offensive line. And outside of that game against Pittsburgh, they've been crushing defenses. Jonathan Taylor's been running, like he's streaking, like Will Ferrell in old school. That's how much he's running. So,
so now, I mean, the overall gist from last week, what happens now, especially with the Chiefs losing to the Bills, is home field becomes very paramount in the playoffs for the entire AFC. 1 through 4, it's going to get nuts because if, let's say, the Colts hold serve, they can host games in Indy. They might be the 1 seed, and they're going to get home games. And Jonathan Taylor on turf, good luck.
I was going to say, they want to be on turf.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch. Now, if the Steelers somehow sneakily win the AFC North, they could be hosting home games.
I don't think it's going to be a sneakily win. They're still weak. I don't care what the Ravens have done.
I mean, they're weak.
The fact that the Steelers beat an elite team, that served notice to the rest of them. I think the Bengals are done. The fact they lost to the Bears, especially, we didn't talk about that. We need to talk about that real quick. The Bengals losing to the Bears was a key, factor in the AFC North. Absolutely. And the way that they lost to the Bears was the way the Bears lost to Washington Commanders last year. That was the most ridiculous game. We thought the game was over. I was watching it with a friend at the bar. They're up 14 points. There's like 4 minutes left. We're like, game over. All right, I'm going to go take my daughter to her trip and all of that stuff. Yeah. And then I'm in the car listening to the radio. Oh my God. And being a Bears fan and a Chicago fan just in period.
It killed the season.
You thought that you knew that the sky had fallen because they gave up 2 touchdowns in like 1 minute.
Yep.
And it was on Caleb to come back down the field with no timeouts to be able to score. And then the impossible happened, which was the pinball, 3-tackle, pachinko kind of touchdown. Again, this improbable.
And again, because a defensive player got cocky, started going the little bye-bye wave, and that's how it all happened. Now, case in point, let's revert back to last week and some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know if you caught some of the post-game interview with the Bengals locker room afterwards. Primarily with Chase, and I believe
I did. So Brown was some of the things he said, you should never say, because you can get your butt whooped for that one in the locker room.
That one's going to be a tough one to swallow in that locker room, especially from a guy who's still a rookie contract.
Right. Well, and everybody thought he was going to be all of that. They got rid of Joe Mixon, and he's supposed to be the guy, and he really hasn't been the guy, but he sure talked like he was the guy.
He talked like he was some locker room prowess, and I'm sorry, but some of those defensive players, they might knock him silly this week in practice. It might not be pleasant. Now, Jamar Chase had every right to talk.
Yes,
in my opinion.
But he didn't say anything as damning as Brown did.
I mean, he did say the words, all he had to do was make one play. That's all he said.
But that's everything,
but
right?
That's fair. I think that's fair commentary.
Yeah.
Because that's all he had to do was make one effing play to stop them from getting the ball and getting it downfield and getting that touchdown. That's all it was. And Joe Flacco, I'm sorry, backup quarterback puts up nearly 500 yards, 400 and I don't even know whatever. He puts up a 5-piece.
Crazy. Joe Flacco, poor Joe Flacco, he's actually performing. He could keep the Bengals rolling without Burrow.
He might be an all-star. Joe Flacco might be an all-star this year, given the stats, if you look at it.
I tell you what, if the Bengals were able to make the playoffs somehow from here, he should be considered MVP. He should be considered in the conversation.
He saved the franchise, absolutely.
But man, that was sort of crazy. Those comments. What's his name? His name is Chris Brown, isn't it?
No, Chase Brown.
Chase Brown, because I sure was about to put something on there like,
Brown,
Chris Brown was slapping women. I bet he was getting slapped like that in the locker room.
Chase Brown, Chris Brown, Charlie Brown, doesn't matter. Shouldn't be making that comment.
He definitely shouldn't. Charlie Brown. Yeah, that was something. I was happy to see the result of that game, but that was, to me, that embodied what I've been seeing in the NFL this year. You just never know. How many comebacks have we seen where teams have blown big leads, starting with the very first game with the Ravens and the Bills?
Yes.
So, you just never know, and you got to play all 60 minutes, not 59, because you still
honestly, these last 8 weeks of the season are going to be insane because we have no front runners right now, and everything week to week is literally going to determine home field at the end of the day. And it's going to get nasty because I think home field is going to be very integral this year in the playoffs for whatever teams make it. I mean, think about it. Chiefs aren't even in the playoffs right now. They're the 8 because they lost to the Jags. Think about that. Had you beaten the Jags, you're still in the playoffs. You lost to the Jags. Now you got a head-to-head loss there. Now your rest of your gauntlet. Let me name it off for the next 4 weeks. The Colts, the Broncos. Actually, let me rephrase that. Broncos, Colts, Cowboys. Your next 3 weeks.
Cowboys, anybody can beat the Cowboys.
Anybody can beat them. It's on Thanksgiving. It's one of those things, you're still holding it back of your head. Yeah. So, but because, Leon Lett can still happen. No.
Well, the Cowboys are one of those teams now that they know how to lose better than they know how to win.
Yeah, it's an enigma.
Speaking of that, we have the Browns at the Jets. Talk about teams that know how to lose versus knowing how to win. Both of these teams epitomize that.
Obviously, Halloween just passed. A lot of people were complaining that the price of candy was very expensive. Some people joked that it was cheaper to give away Jets tickets and Titans tickets rather than give out candy this year. So, to that point, yes, this Jets game probably cheap as heck to attend.
Well, and the funny thing is, they're at home. I don't know what the spread is, but I only picked the Jets because
2.5 Cleveland on the road.
So think about that. I mean, you got a quarterback that redeemed himself for 1 week, but all year long has looked like he can't really manage an offense, cannot throw a ball accurately. And unless he's running the ball, he has no effectiveness, and it's not putting any fear in the defense to where you can run the ball.
You took away 2 key pieces on the defense. You took away the sauce, and you took away Quinton Williams. So guess what? Your defense is going to cede points to the Browns, and the Browns aren't, they're terrible. Don't get me wrong, and they are the Browns, but they can still score. They still got a running game, as far as I can check. Kind of.
You know what?
Yeah.
Ford might not be as popular of a car nowadays. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Actually, they got Quentin. What's his name? Johnston, right?
Yeah, they Johnson or whatever. Yeah,
Judge. Yeah, Keyshawn.
Yeah. So does Judkins run on this game? Probably. I mean, the Browns, I still can't even name any receiver. Jerry Jeudy doesn't count.
Jerry Jeudy does not count. No.
Joku apparently is happy he's staying in Cleveland, which doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. He's hoping he can get paid like Myles Garrett.
I mean, if you're asking me to pick in this game, you know what? I'm going to go with the Jets just because they're at home. It's an underdog.
That's the only reason I took the Jets is because they're at home. It's going to be a low scoring game. Talk about a game you don't want to see. That's probably the one. If you
we say that now, watch it be a 50-50 shootout. Yeah.
Aints against the Panthers. The Panthers showed up last week.
I tell you what, the Panthers
decent. And
Panthers showed flash of light, especially with the whole Rico, Dowdle, and Chuba. Like they got a dynamic backfield. Rico's now the starter, apparently, is what it seems like based on the number of carries. The Panthers are showing some life. That McMillan can, catch the ball. They're a work in progress, obviously, because they're still the bottom feeder of the NFL, but they can show up on
bottom feeders anymore. We just talked about bottom feeder.
Yeah, not anymore. They've gotten up to 5, 6 up, from the bottom.
They're not middle of the pack, but they're not as sorry as they were.
But they are playing the Aints. Yeah, I'm going Panthers on this one. Easy.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers as well. I think the surprise here may not be how the Panthers were playing and how they played last week, but how putrid the Packers offense looked. And the fact that the Packers were one of the teams just not that long ago was being deemed as the NFC, champion going to the Super Bowl.
And let's think about this. The Panthers went into Lambeau and beat them. So that whole home field thing I just mentioned, we bumped that too.
It's funny. When you said that, I agree with you. Home field always matters. But what I've seen, even from some of the top teams, heck, the Lions just lost at home against the Vikings.
At home.
So maybe we put more stock into the home field advantage than it's really worth.
No,
ask Buffalo and how many times they beat the Chiefs, right?
Ask Buffalo and how many times they've hit an upright, regardless of what the situation was. I thought for sure we were going to relive some sort of haunting memory after that game.
I was hopeful when he hit that upright. I'm
like,
it's like, here we go. We're about to do this.
It's like when you hear a Chinese gong go off and you want us to be like, all right, let's see. Let's start.
You know what? I didn't see the camera flash over to Josh, but I would have loved to have seen his face right as it hit that upright. Like, oh, no.
You're leaving how much time for that dude again?
Haven't you learned your lesson?
It's just ridiculous.
Next game, and I think this may be one of the biggest games on the slate, Patriots against Buccaneers. Now, in this particular contest, you got key players on both sides that are not going to be playing in this game.
Yes.
You got the Buccaneers who still have the Baker is a Baker boy. That dude he can cook when he's on, and he's been throwing to people that he doesn't even know half the time.
See, I love this matchup, and it's going to be a tough call for me to pick this one, but I'm going to go Bucks, but it's going to be an ugly knock-'em, drag-down fight, and here's why. Mike Vrabel manages to figure out defensive schemes, regardless of his personnel, to always match up with the toughest teams. So he's going to bring the pressure to Baker all day long. However, Baker's still got a lot of outlet valves. He's got Otten. He's got Agbuka. I think he's got Godwin back finally.
No, I think they were saying Godwin and Irving are out.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Irving, I know. Irving, I know is out for sure. And they're being coy about him too. That gets back to my engineering.
Okay. He hasn't practiced, so God, you know how that works. If they don't practice on Friday, probably not going to play on Sunday.
True. Okay, so worth monitoring. But either way, he's still got some receivers. He's got some talent. He's got that other guy too. I forget. There's another receiver that they had catch a couple balls recently. That's not too bad. But either way, this is Baker Mayfield. He's going to figure out a way to win, whether with his legs, throwing, whatever it is. And he's got still Rachaad White, mind you. And Rachaad White's a great pass catcher out of the backfield, so that works. The Patriots are a great team. I'm still giving a little bit more credence to the Buccaneers defense to stop the Patriots. So that's why I'm going Buccaneers.
I would agree with that. And if the Patriots can't run the ball, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for May and Rudy and Diggs and all of them to get going. I'm also taking the Buccaneers.
Yep. It's going to be a great matchup between two lost teams.
They have
the other great game I want to mention.
NFL, right?
What's that?
2 best records in the NFL. What's the best record in the NFL?
I believe so. I believe they're now. Yeah, I believe they're right up there.
Yeah.
The other great game I thought was on the slate, but it doesn't get it because of the record, is the Jags-Texans.
True. I'm
division's
not sold on either team,
Oh, I'm not either.
I am taking the Jaguars only because the Texans will be without their starting QB.
Out.
So the fact that he's still under concussion protocol and won't play, I just find it difficult for them to be able to beat the Jags. Even though the Jags are one of those teams, they go up and down. They play good against the Chiefs, play bad against other teams. Not sure what you're going to see out of them in Texas.
So the Jags now also have Jacoby Myers. So you got Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas Jr., You had Travis Hunter. He's obviously out, but you still got a pretty loaded offensive front, and still you guys can't manage to put up like the kind of points that you would expect out of an offense like this. And I don't know if it has to do with play calling.
Lord Farquhar isn't as good as they pay him to be.
Yeah, either Lord Farquhar's not good or the play calling's bad. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I'll give Lord Farquhar some defense. He's had multiple coaches in his career, which is ridiculous. Again, same situation we've talked about before.
But they're all in that bag, right? Because everybody's, what have you done for me lately? Okay, if you haven't done anything within a year, sometimes 2, we're getting rid of you.
I mean, you did nothing with Doug Peterson, for God's sakes, as a coach, which is crazy. Yeah. And look, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Come on.
So again, is it the coaching or is it the quarterback?
Yeah. But no, I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to go Jags. Jags are favored by 1.5 right now of the Vegas line because of the Stroud situation, obviously.
I've got the Jags as well. I think that they're going to pull this out. I think they're going to win the division, or they'll be second in their division to the Colts, and may be able to squeak in a playoff spot.
Yep. Here's an interesting one for you. So you obviously saw what the Bills did last week. Their defense showed up. They schooled the Chiefs. Easy enough. They're nearly 10-point favorites on the Dolphins this weekend, and we know what the Dolphins are. They're the absolute trash of the NFL at this point, the unclassiest franchise. Right. This is a division game. Tua showed up last week. Put up like 4 touchdowns or something stupid, right?
So what do you expect from him this week?
Well, that's the question. And do the Bills actually show some consistency and, take care of business? Because frankly, if they pressure like they did against the Chiefs, against the Dolphins, Tua's out for the season, as far as I'm concerned. Tua's going to get knocked the hell out.
And he may.
Now, I'm going to go Bills, but I think the Dolphins are going to cover on this one.
Well, what's funny is this is one of those trap games. The Bills just came off of beating the Chiefs on Monday night, or not Monday night, but they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
This is where you fall into that trap. I just don't have enough faith in McDonald.
Yeah.
Tua. Somebody tried to offer me a trade. They were offering me Waddle and like a 2 second-tier running back for Derrick Henry. And I said, I'm not giving up Derrick Henry for that. I can't. They're like, well, you're playing somebody so hard than Waddle. No, what has Waddle done all year? It's unpredictable. Even with Tyreek out, he's not really getting the lion's share. And Tua's, just sometimes he's great and sometimes he sucks.
Unless Waddle's traded to a contender, I can't even trust that anymore. Like he's not even a tier. He's like a tier 4 or tier 5 at this point. Yeah.
And I can't trust the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins have been a playoff team. Yeah. They just don't look like it now.
Nah, they're done. They're cooked. Here's a matchup for you.
Another interesting game to me was the Ravens and Vikings. It's in Minnesota. Minnesota's coming off a high, beating Detroit in Detroit. Yep. They still have an opportunity to go far. McCarthy, I have to give the guy credit. Everybody was basically saying, why did you get rid of Darnold? Why did you get rid of Jones to keep this guy? Well, he showed why last week.
Who needs experience? He's only been in 3 games so far, and so he's obviously got a small sample size, but he's got capability. He's got poise in the pocket. He gets the ball out to Jefferson. You can't ask for much more. So I like where they're going. However, Lamar's back. I'm going to buy into the hype over here that they've changed the culture a little bit in the narrative, and I think the Ravens are going to go on a little bit of a run here before they start facing their divisional foes in the Steelers at the end of the year, where they play them twice in like 4 weeks in December. Right. I think the Ravens are going to take this one on the road against the Vikings.
I got the Ravens as well for similar reasons. Having the guys back, they actually started using Derrick Henry like people use. What? Yeah. Like, Derrick Henry, we got this great running back. Let's try to give him the ball. So if they start to do that, more of that, I think that they will win. I also have to say that I'm going to go with what Vegas and everybody else has been saying with regards to them still having a chance to win the division because the division's so weak. I just don't think they will. I still think the Steelers are going to win the division.
Steelers may end up finishing it. That's true. It comes down to Steelers defense if it shows up. Yep.
Yeah, and I want to make one clarification. We talked about the Falcons coach. You said you're taking the Colts, correct?
Yes, I'm taking the Colts. Yes.
Okay, and I'm taking the Falcons. I think that this is going to be one of those games where I think the Colts are reeling a little bit. I think they're going to try to come out and show their dominance. I'm just wondering if the Falcons can actually run the ball effectively.
Yeah.
They would be the team that everybody thought they would be. I'm going to take the Falcons on that one. So I just
both teams have to travel. Yeah, both teams are traveling to Germany. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out in the early morning game.
And that's the other part of it.
Yep.
I think that does impact you. We've traveled to across overseas. I'm sorry, there is a difference. It does take, and heck, you're in Germany. Don't let them get out there and get drunk and eat too many, sausages out there.
hey, we're post-Oktoberfest. It's going to be that time.
So we'll see how that all works out.
Yes, sir.
Giants Bears. This is an interesting game. Another interesting game, in my opinion. The Bears coming off a high of blowing a game and still recovering to win it. The Giants, they are still without Scatterboo.
They're making do with Tracy and all that.
Last week.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants are still the Giants. I mean, let's put it this way: if the Bears play like they're supposed to, like a winning team, this should be an easy win. Vegas has got them by 4.5. But you know what? The Giants' defense to me is still elite, and I think they're going to get enough pressure on Mr. Paints His Nails to where he's going to have to force that ball. So you know what? I'm going on the upset pick. I'm going G-Man on this one.
Shame on you. You're from Chicago, or you were in Chicago. For you to come up with that, shame on you. I'm taking the Bears.
That's fair.
I do think one thing that, at least in my mind, is still true. Caleb should not have been the number 1 pick. He has flashes of brilliance. So did Jay Cutler. He's got an arm at times, but I swear he throws the ball to people who are 7 feet tall. Half the time.
Yeah. Every ball sails.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a lacquer on his nails or if he gets that gel finish or what it is, but should be flying over the people. It doesn't make sense. And you got DJ Moore, of God's sake. DJ Moore did more with the Carolina Panthers than he's doing with the Bears. It's crazy.
And that's sad to say, because that was a great pickup. But again, I think Caleb is overrated, but I think that he's good enough to pull this game out and potentially to lead the Bears to the playoffs this year.
Ben Johnson has been creative enough. He's got to be given probably another year to kind of work the kinks out of the system and whatnot with Caleb and everything else. But they've been good. I mean, obviously they're an above 500 team, so you got to give them credit. But yeah, this will be an interesting game for me. I'm kicking G-Man. You're picking Bears. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, they better not have more than one trick play. That's dangerous. Yeah. You have to use trick plays as much as they used it last week. Something's a little up to me.
Yep, exactly.
Cardinals Seahawks. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot to talk about, although Jacoby Brissett sort of revitalized his career. He looked like the old Jacoby when he first came into the league, and he had the Cardinals looking like a team that I thought they would be earlier in the year. But the Seahawks would be the Seahawks got it going on. Everything. Yeah.
They're the class of the NFL to me right now that play solid on both ends of the ball. If you would ask me the same question last week, I probably would have said the Colts, but honestly, the Seahawks are the soup du jour right now in terms of
you mean the Cardinals?
Sorry? Last week I was thinking that the Colts were like one of the best teams in the NFL.
One of the best teams. Gotcha. Yeah.
Seattle has showed me that they are consistent on both sides of the ball every week. It doesn't matter. Like the only bad loss that they had, and it wasn't even a bad loss, was Tampa Bay game. And they barely lost that one at home. Baker was just Baker. Let's face facts. And that's a good loss because that's another playoff team that you're going to be playing against potentially down the road. So the Seahawks, to me, are the cream of the NFL right now in terms of balance and consistency. Sam Darnold, you that dog. You're getting that ball to Jackson Jigba. You're getting the two-headed running game going between Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet.
And our wine guy.
Now, think about this. The Seahawks made a move. I think they got another receiver or whatever. You also got Cooper Kupp. That's still like a third tier, fourth tier. That's how deep they are at receiver, right?
That's actually true. Cooper Kupp was an MVP, basically
a couple years ago. Yeah,
a couple years ago. So yeah, I got the Seahawks as well. I just can't see them losing this game against.
Easy win for the 12th man there. I think.
Yep. Lions Commanders. I might have thought more this game when Jaden Daniels was a quarterback. I don't with Mariota.
I mean, that was a Joe Theismann moment. I don't know if you saw how brutal that injury was. It looked ugly. That thing bent backwards 90 degrees, man. It was nasty.
Well, what's different now? You will still see video of like Joe Theismann in that hit and what happened.
Yeah,
they don't show that stuff anymore.
Show that now.
Yeah, you don't see it. I missed the actual play. I was watching the game. I forget, maybe I was cooking or something.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
And they stopped showing it. Yeah, and they stopped showing it. Yeah. Because they were like, it's too brutal. It's too brutal. I'm like, dude, you guys show 80s highlights of Joe Theismann all day getting destroyed.
You know, they show Daryl Stingley getting, almost decapitated and paralyzed, but then they won't show that.
Yep. No, like
that's
I said,
the way the world has changed. And again, this is one of the things that I think is, I understand the concern. But, boxing, you don't want to now have them punching with, what do you call it? Toilet paper rolls. You want them to have real gloves. This is football. You want football to be football. This is not flag football. This is not touch football. This is real man tackle football. If you can't play it, you can't play it. But let's not change the game just so that it make it more palatable for those people who don't like violence.
Yeah, don't hide the dangers of the sport, because that's the reality of the game. I mean, I'm sorry, but if I'm somebody who needs to be educated about how football is played, you look at the things that make it the risky sport, and you should be subject to watching that. At the end of the day, you do it for boxing, you do it for wrestling, you do it for highlight and all the other dangerous things. Yeah. I mean,
why are we doing that to football?
Exactly. No, I agree. Now, sad news for Jaden Daniels. I feel really bad for him because he was kind of that next budding star, I think, and especially a bright light for the franchise. And you saw it on the field when the guys went down and they were disappointed. They were sad.
They were all walking with him.
Very unfortunate to see. Now, I'm hoping he has a great recovery and hope the Commanders kind of fight back through it. That said, I mean, I think their season's over at this point. I mean, regardless of who you got, quarterback, Mariota, whatever. I mean, they've just lost too many pieces. They don't have any consistency of McLaurin having been on the field. Yeah. Nothing's going right this year for the Commanders, unfortunately. So at the end of the day,
My biggest thing is I'm hopeful that this doesn't, and they've been saying this, that it doesn't turn into another Robert Griffin affair where
I hope not.
The injuries just start to snowball, and all of a sudden Jaden Daniels goes from this great bright light and potential to not even being able to play.
There was a joke at the beginning of the game, and I just say this in jest because 50 Cent was at the game wearing a Commander's jacket and everything else. And guess who was hanging out with? Jaden's mom.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Jaden was talking to Juju?
Well, you know they're probably dating now, right? So Juju,
I hadn't heard anything more about that.
So Juju's been at every game.
Oh, okay.
Juju's been at every game. Sitting next to Mama.
Yeah, because Mama went in between there, and she was even pointing at the camera like, "I saw you guys. You better not be talking to this girl." And here she is sitting with 50 Cent.
Hey, Mama's come around. She realizes that Jaden can't do better because it's Juju Watkins, for God's sakes.
I was about to say, like, you got someone who knows what it is to be famous. She's not a gold digger, and she's cute, and he likes her.
Yeah, exactly. So Mama quit getting in the way, but she's still sitting next to Mama in the stands. All 4 games at home so far.
Well, and I'm wondering about 50 Cent. He had Vivica Fox. 50 Cent. He know how to treat an older black woman.
First off, what? In what world is 50 Cent wearing a Commander's jacket? Like,
you do what you can to get close to Mama.
By the way, what's new or what's old is new again in the world of everything right now, especially fashion. I don't know if you noticed this, and I haven't seen it yet at my local stores, but apparently starter jackets are back.
Yes, they are. I have seen them.
They're being sold at Costco.
What's old is new. I mean, what hasn't come back? I'm watching. How many people have you seen with bell-bottom jeans? Bell-bottom jeans went out in the 70s, but I swear I see more bell-bottom jeans now worn by women and men than I saw, in the last 40 years.
The year was 1992. The Cowboys last won the chip. What did I do? I bought a starter jacket. I had a Cowboy starter jacket with the star on the back. And guess what? I stopped wearing it probably about 97, 98 after I grew it, whatever. Right. If it's in my parents' house, my dad must have worn it when he was out shoveling snow while I was at college, whatever. They moved here. What do I find in the annals of the basement and everything else I'm cleaning up? That starter jacket. I will bring it out.
Starter jackets and member only jackets were big back
then.
Members
only. I got 2 members only jackets.
Yes. If I do still have it somewhere, I sure as hell can't fit in it.
Hell yeah! I've got starter hats. Everything. Like it was the stuff in the 90s. You were that fashion icon back then. Now,
you
he's
know,
championing one on the sideline of the Commander game. What is he doing with a DC jacket when he's a New York boy?
good question. Mama, watch out.
Watch out.
It's going to turn you out, girl.
Exactly.
Jaden, you're going to be at home a lot more now, Jaden. You better watch out.
Jaden, what your mama did to you and Juju, you should be doing you and Fitty over there.
Hell yeah, I would do that. I would have walked up in the stands and stepped right up between and say, I saw y'all on the camera.
Straight up.
All right.
Last afternoon, the last afternoon game, Rams 49ers.
Going to be a great game.
Divisional game, great game in 49er in San Francisco. I mean, the 49ers, same thing. Too many injuries all the time, never have consistency, never get all their starters on the field at once.
But they still win.
But they still win. I mean, Mike Shanahan is still one of, or not, it was Mike Shanahan, sorry. Kyle Shanahan, sorry. His son. Amazing coach, always shown it, always been in pure class. Somehow gets it together all the time. This is a divisional game. I'm still going with the Rams in this one because the Rams still got that dude Stafford who's just balling.
Hello, same thing, and I would say I'm not sure what Puka is and all of that. But here's what is really fascinating about this game. You mentioned it. The 49ers have had all these injuries. Key injury here, besides some of the receivers and all of that, and the fact that McCaffrey is actually still healthy, which is shocking. Is that Purdy has been – they're doing with Purdy what you would see with quarterbacks like, oh, he's got an injury, but since we're winning, we're not going to bring him back. Yeah. Does that mean he still has – he just got paid. He just got paid. But Mac Jones seems to be doing a better job than he is having doing prior. Mac Jones. I find that fascinating in the fact that this whole quarterback dynamic and they're winning with Mac Jones and they're not bringing Purdy back. I'm sorry. Since when did turf toe become such a damning injury that you would be out for like 6, 7, 8 weeks? Burrow's out for a whole season. Give me a break.
Yeah, I don't know whether we're being overprotective about injuries because of the contract values and all that other crap. I mean, I could go on a whole tangent about that. But to me, like you just said, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, these people gutted it out to be on the field.
All the time. I turf toe my ass.
Yeah. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I get that you're trying to protect your brand value, blah, 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 blah. You guys are 25, 27 years old, whatever. You're getting paid $200 million plus these days. I mean, that's generational wealth upon generational wealth. I'm sorry, but you're here to play a game.
That's it. Just like me showing up for work. Show up for work. Yeah, play the game.
Exactly. I show up with a cough. You guys can show up with a turf toe. May not be equivalent, but
well, the other thing that I thought was fascinating about this game is the Rams have sort of reloaded. They got rid of Cooper Kupp, they got Puka, and then they got Taco Bell Man. And you know, Devontae is. I'm sorry, he got Taco Bell.
He's the only man on earth who has a Taco Bell in his house. Yeah, it's Devontae Adams, man.
Yeah, Taco Bell Man. Yeah. But they reloaded, and I think they're going to be better than they were.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, and their defense is elite. They got that pass rusher.
They're the ones not being talked about as much. They've been talking about the Packers and the Lions and the Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Rams should have beat the Eagles. Let's face facts. That was a win. It was a win for all intents and purposes. All right. So the Rams should have beat the Eagles. They've beaten every other quality team they needed to beat. So at the end of the day, to me, the Rams are that team out of the NFC right now.
Exactly. And if they beat the 49ers, that gives them a leg up. And it's just basically them in Seattle.
And it's that division's going to be brutal. I'll tell you what, you could get 3 teams out and it's going to be nuts. And then you got the NFC North who could get 4 teams. So that dynamic in the NFC and head-to-head matchups is going to be wild week to week.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's funny, before at the beginning of the season, you thought that at least 2, if not 3 of the teams from the NFC North would make it into the playoffs. I'm not sure if more than one is going to make it now.
You might just be looking at the Lions or the Packers at this point. It's going to get ugly. And then even in like the NFC East, I think is a foregone conclusion with the Eagles. I think you've got one team and that's it. And the South is one team. So really the North and the West is going to be a fun battle down these next 8 weeks of head-to-head matchups. That's going to determine who gets in, who gets out.
Right. I agree. We got 2 more games on the docket. We got Steelers, Chargers. Steelers coming off a big win against a Colts team that's been underrated. Chargers. Who are the Chargers? They were supposed to be that team. They were supposed to be that dude. They were gonna unseat the Chiefs as the AFC West champions. Is that going to be the case this year? Are they really those Chargers?
So here's my hot take. I think this game is more important for the Chargers than it is the Steelers, because the Chargers are in a tougher division right now with the Broncos and the Chiefs chasing, and the Broncos obviously being on top. The Chargers have to keep pace and stay ahead of the Chiefs, especially with now the head-to-head win over them, to make sure that they can push them out of the playoffs. So honestly, it becomes imperative that the Chargers beat other playoff contenders like the Steelers to stay in that race. The Steelers, I think, can afford a loss in this game and still be okay for their division and stuff like that. Because really for them, it's the Ravens or bust, basically. They've got to sweep the Ravens and try to win the division. But I think it's more important for the Chargers. The Chargers are playing at home. There is no home advantage in LA for any team. We know that. The fandom is just weird, and it's just that way. I'm going to go, because it's Sunday night and because we have our, pseudo Oscar winner Aaron Rodgers drama queen playing, and because I think the defense might actually try to show up, I'm going to go Steelers on the road on this one. The Chargers are favored by 2.5 by Vegas right now because, frankly, they're playing well, and their defense is playing well, and Herbert's playing well and everything else. But I think because the Chargers' running game is still suspect, because they only got Vidal now.
Well, and that's the thing. They lost their running back for the year.
Yeah, they've lost their running backs like over and over.
Yeah.
I think they're lacking that one dimension with a pure runner. So they're going to be throwing. Steelers can cover on the secondary. We know that. So I'm going Steelers.
I like that pick. I'm taking the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh and his team is going to pull it out. They are at home. You're right that being at home isn't quite what it used to be in LA. But I got the Chargers on that one. One last game before we shut it down.
Game.
We've got Monday night Eagles Packers, baby.
For me, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going Eagles on the road because the Packers kind of deflated me last week. The fact that you lost at home to a Carolina Panther team, you don't show any consistency on the offensive side of the ball from week to week. I mean, you're highly reliant on getting the ball down the field because at some point you're not giving the ball enough to Josh Jacobs, in my opinion. I think Josh Jacobs should be carrying the. I think they're forcing Jordan Love to throw out to like 15 different receivers, whoever they have these days. I can't even count the number they have. But
they lost Kraft. They lost
Kraft, which is huge. Saquon's going to come in there with a mission. And this the Eagles are coming off a bye, mind you. That's the reason I'm going Eagles.
And I was thinking the same thing. I'm going Eagles. They're coming off a bye.
Yep.
They have more weapons. I don't care that it's in Green Bay. I don't think it matters. Yeah. And one thing that I've seen that it is raising its head a little bit more than it should, at least based on what I would think the evolution would be of this quarterback, is Jordan Love. If you look over the last few years, he's made some crazy mistakes.
Yes.
Things you just can't explain, throws that you can't imagine. And he's doing that again. He did it against the Panthers. Last year, remember, he ran out of the back, almost out of the end zone, threw a ball, like falling down, threw a pick six, to a guy like 10 yards away. I just feel like he's trying to do too much. And as a result, he ends up putting his team in some situations they shouldn't be in with regards to turnovers.
Agreed. No, I'm going fly, Eagles, fly on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget this. And maybe they don't. It's just the way we think as far as, people, fans and, people commenting about sports. They are the Super Bowl champions. They are the defending Super Bowl champions.
They're the defending champions, and they only got better. Think about it in terms of offense, and they pull out the sneakiest move at the trade deadline, too. That's what really frustrates me.
That's right. Didn't they just they got one of the guys from the Jets, right?
Yep. No, they got the Dolphins defensive tackle.
They got the Dolphins, which you should raise the Dolphins coffee.
And they sniped him for nothing, basically. It was like a 3rd and a 6th or some garbage, basically. Like it was.
So how
many Roseman is the greatest GM in sports? Done.
You know what? I give it to them, and they have built a sustainable program that can be successful.
Yep.
They do a franchise that can be successful. As many years as the Eagles have been in the doldrums, look at what they are now. I mean,
it took a cultural change for them. Yeah,
it has been. And the fact that and I tell you what, I think Saquon Barkley has more value than just being on the field, because that guy
100%.
is a classy guy. And I think he helps to rally the team to be more of a team outside of AJ Brown. AJ Brown he's getting to be that diva thing again. You know, like he's stupid.
Yeah, here's my thing with AJ Brown. I don't know if it's the media just coming out with some narrative, because again, Philly media to me is the worst media in the world. I will say that boldly, because you could have one. Let's say the Eagles are 16-1. They'll still talk about the 1, not the 16. They've
been doing that. They did it
that's what I'm saying.
They did it
This
the year
team
before.
that's won 30 games over the last 3 years. You're not talking about that.
Yeah, you can't please them. No matter how good you are, no matter what your sustained success is, they find a way to bring you down. Last year
they went after Sirianni. They wanted Sirianni fired. They wanted Sirianni fired by like game 4 last year, if you remember.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
You know what I'm saying? Like they find some little narrative to catch on to. Oh, AJ Brown said they're reading novels all day. Okay, guess what? You're still winning. You're 6-2 or 7-2, whatever the hell you are.
Yeah. So I just don't think they appreciate that. And the sad thing is, you'd think they would, given where they've been for decades. You'd think they'd be happy and praising this team, but instead they're basically trying to find the ways to break them down. But to that point, though, AJ Brown is on the best team in the NFL until they're not. And he's whining like a little baby. They're not using me. They're this cryptic messages. All of these stupid things. Is like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, this is a team sport. This isn't a me sport.
No, let's draw a quick line there. So yeah, he makes cryptic texts, right? Cryptic messages out there, but it's the media portraying those messages in a negative light. So I want a fine line there. Dude's gonna put out whatever he puts out. He writes it in very cryptic ways. We don't know what he's really thinking, because nobody's really asked him up front in a media press conference meeting, and nor does he do those. You know, that's one thing. 2, everything that he says is always going to be taken in negative connotations. So I feel like there's some bias against him. I'm going to defend him on that front. I'm going to defend any player on that front, because a lot of these guys.
How can you defend somebody who sits on the sideline and reads the book like he's disinterested, or who they're winning, 5 games in a row, and he goes, "I'm not getting the ball. They're not using me the right way."
Public perception is definitely key in that. Now, at the same time, you're playing on the best team in the NFL, basically. As supposedly one of the better players at your position, you also have to accept the fact that if you're going to play on the best team, you're going to take a little bit of a back seat. Because guess what? You're not going to get 100% of the ball, because this is a team sport. Everyone's going to get the ball.
And that's my problem. He's on the best team. He's got guys who are maybe not just as good a receiver, but good receivers. They got the best running back in the league. They got a pretty darn good quarterback, and they're winning. And he has, how, just as you said, it's the media, it's the this, it's that. That's why you see teams always try to keep things in house, try not to say things out there like Chase Brown did in the locker room. You're not supposed to do that. And he's been around long enough to know that. Chase Brown has been around a couple years, so he doesn't know. So, AJ Brown, grow your ass up, act like a mature man, and realize that it's a privilege to be, 1, playing football and getting paid what you get paid, 2, that you're on the best team in the league and you can't get 15 balls a game, because they don't need you to get 15 balls a game for them to win. And 3, if you keep wanting to shoot your mouth off, Sirianni, everybody else, get rid of the bum. Because you got enough weapons to still thrive, and trust me, you bet you can get a star receiver come to your team, because you got that kind of team.
I'll do you one better. Here's a fun, controversial trade offer that I would throw out there. If you do, in fact, have a locker room problem with AJ Brown, send him to the Dolphins. Go get Jalen Waddle. Then you'll get Waddle, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, who all played at Alabama together.
Oh, that's right. There you go. That's a great one. And honestly, I would have looked into that and gotten rid of him before the trade deadline, because the worst thing that the Eagles could have right now is they continue to win and they're doing well, but everybody's focusing on the negative, focusing on this diva talking smack on the side, when they need to be focused on winning. That's the worst thing that can happen. And that's a great idea. Too bad they didn't do that before the deadline.
There were some wild trade ideas going through my head all week, and I'm mainly for my Chiefs, obviously, for biased reasons. But I'm sitting there like, okay, if they're truly unhappy with AJ Brown, dude, you got your next best option, and the guy that knows your quarterback so well, it's ridiculous. And you would have the ultimate 3-headed monster with Alabama out there.
That's right, and that would be effective, just as effective with AJ Brown, just as effective.
No,
all right. Well, that sums up what we have for this week. Hope everybody enjoys the games. We're getting closer to the holiday season and people coming in and family and food. You know, let's enjoy this season for what it is. For those people in the Midwest, put your coats on because it's gonna be cold, y'all.
Give me a little chilly. Quick little note on another sport. If you have, obviously, we're not too big into watching NBA basketball just yet, but keep an eye on those Chicago Bulls, baby.
They look pretty good right now, but I'm not giddy over giddy. You can't name 5 of them. You know, it's just that bothers me. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I have this rule, and this is just me. It's not being prejudiced or anything else. You know my rule. You got to have more of the brown than the lighter when you're on the court if you're going to win. If you're going to win championships.
The Lakers and the Bulls are winning with white boys right now. I just want to say that out there.
right now, I agree. And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's a better player, this and that, because these players are all good. Yeah. But this historically, you're going to need – this isn't the 60s Boston Celtics where you can put those 5 guys out there who look like they played at Gonzaga and they could win.
Yeah, these aren't like, the Jason Williams. These are all international white guys, by the way. They're all,
Good point. That's a good point. This is true. Outside of Austin, this is true.
Yeah. So keep an eye on it. But no,
all right.
Like I said, great round of football coming up. Hopefully everybody can watch despite YouTube.
That's so sad.
But
I hope that everybody enjoy. You're going to enjoy the sports. This is that time of year. Snoop Dogg's coming for the Olympics, Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when he's narrating stuff.
He just cracks me up. Love the guy. This is a guy who was a gangbanger in Long Beach. And here he is now. He's a global icon that can go anywhere in the world, be recognized and be respected.
Greatest clip of him is when he's narrating the equestrian horse, whatever, the horse dancing thing. I forgot what it's called. And he's sitting there like, that horse is
question. Did he say that? Wow. That's Snoop.
Pull up the clip. Pull up the clip when you get a chance. It's the greatest thing you'll ever see.
That's so Snoop. Well, I got to get out of here. Everybody, be well. My partner, always wish you and your family the best. Enjoy the day, and we'll talk again.
See you guys next week.